Well, hey guys, welcome to Conversations. My name's John Thomas. This is my friend Lisa Matschek. We've known each other for a number of years, and some of you may not have had the opportunity to meet her yet, but she's been around streams for a while. And a while back, we had this website we called interpretmydream.com. And she was one of our interpreters on there, one of our master certified interpreters. So when I was just getting started interpreting dreams, she would come. She did these dream intensives, which is one of the ways I got the idea for the dream labs that we've been doing for the videos. And she would also give me feedback on my interpretations, letting me know where I was missing the interpretation and where I needed to grow. And I've learned a lot from you, from your journey, from what you shared. But one of the things that I think would be fun, just talk a little bit about, is outreach. You've been involved in outreach with streams, prophetic evangelism, dream interpretation, and a lot of different formats. How did that get started?
Well, like many of y'all, going through and taking the courses, and just very impressed with the area of that integrity and character over gifting. It just really, really touched my spirit. So I just kind of took these. It was just like a yes, Lord, for each step along the way. And it's like, okay, venture to this, yes, Lord. Venture to this, yes, Lord. Take this class, yes, Lord. Can't say that I had this electricity, divine revelation, but this is the way that God speaks to me. He just places something in my heart, and I just say yes, Lord, and I just continue to take steps forward. And with that, there came upon the year where John Paul decided to do one of his first outreaches, and that was in Las Vegas. And so I ventured that direction with the prompting of a sister-in-law that said, let's go check them out. And so we did. And I was placed on a team. And for the first time, I got to see how outreach really touches an individual. And the very first dream that was given to me and approached by someone and just passing by on the street saying, hey, we do dream interpretation. Do you have a dream you would like to share? This is just a passerby or on the Las Vegas streets. And that individual shared their dream about a man that continued to chase them over the years. Wow. And how they ran and they kept running from this man. They said they didn't really have fear other than they just didn't want to be chased. And eventually they were caught up with this man, and they experienced the kindness that came from that, and she wondered why she had ran for so long. And we were able to tell her about the love of God and introduce her to that man that's been chasing her for such a long time. And to see her spirit in humility, just start to just cry and recognize a love that she had been running for so long, and to be embraced by the Heavenly Father. I was sold out at that moment, going, oh my gosh, this thing works.
Wow.
And I would have to say it was from that day on that I knew that it was part of my destiny to
go after it. And so you've had some fun opportunities. Mm-hmm. You've done a number of different outreaches since then. So that was Las Vegas. What are some of the other places that you've been to?
Well, when the ministry became involved with Burning Man, and that's in the Nevada desert, it was a group that was getting up to 90,000, people at the event. A team was taken. I went the second year, and again, we offered just dream interpretation, and to a very unique environment, I would have to say.
What is Burning Man? Because some people have no idea.
Well, Burning Man is I would say it's a pagan festival that's held in the Nevada desert. It invites people from all over the world, And people come to hang out in the name of love with no rules or restrictions. And so that looks like a little bit of everything from good to a lot of not so good,
Yeah.
eating from the not from the tree of life, but from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And so, with that mix, we bring in teams, and I've had the opportunity for up to 10 years to experience the joy of bringing love into just a community where it's very messed up,
Yeah.
so to say,
Yeah.
and then show them truth and what real love looks like.
A lot of brokenness, a lot of gifting, but not
Yes,
knowing what to do with it.
exactly.
I haven't personally gotten to go to Burning Man, but just spent time with different
Yeah.
ones on the team. And it always strikes me with the level of hunger when somebody encounters something real. I remember one of the stories is somebody that had an encounter, came in for an encounter, and then can I just stay here, and laid for like 45 minutes or an hour, and then just didn't want to leave.
Right.
The rest of the week they'd come back. Can I just want to lay down in this presence, whatever this
Exactly.
is. This is good.
Yeah.
And just sat there and missed out on all the party and everything else that was going on just to be in the presence of God because they'd
Exactly.
encountered something.
Yeah. So that first year I was there, and again, when you talk about the presence, so the team brings, you know, God goes before us, and the presence of God just fills the camp, and so the people out there, they walk in and they feel something different. We don't have to explain it. We don't have to tell them anything. They just know that there is something different about this environment. Um, and so there was one guy comes stumbling into the camp, and he says, "I'm hungry and I'm tired," and he just kind of passes out. And he lays there for quite some time. And then we go on with our encounters with individuals that are coming in to have their dream interpreted. Maybe they just want to they just want a spirit encounter, and because we have this little menu board, and they get to kind of pick what they want. You know, ask and you shall receive, and so we feed, and I remember these. He wasn't laying too far from me, and I'm having this, interpreting this dream and telling this individual about the creator. The guy rises up and he says, "They were talking about Jesus." And he lays back down and passes out. That was pretty, pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Pretty phenomenal. Yeah. It's like, I never even said Jesus, but the spirit of truth. And even those that, have their issues and dealing with their demons recognize
Yeah.
the creator. They know exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because the spirit, they know by spirit.
That's amazing.
And they're talking about that atmosphere too. Another thing, encounter out there, a young lady. Nakedness doesn't run rampant out there, but there's some nakedness out there, and this beautiful spirit. This girl comes in, and she is topless, and she has this encounter with God just by we interpreted one of her dreams. We talked to her about the wholeness and finding the creator and finding a true love. She had this scarf that was wrapped around her waist, and after the encounter, I just hugged her and just embraced her and loved her like a mother. Just that it was just one of those things, because I actually became known as the mother of the playa out there with our group. And I just held her and loved her and blessed her from a mother to a daughter. And when the embrace was over, she took this scarf off of her and she asked me to wrap her and show her how to make it into a shirt, because she didn't want to go out there, back out into the camp unclothed. And that touched
That's
me, because
amazing.
we didn't judge her by that. But she just felt the presence of God, and she was ready to just be clothed and covered and wanted to go out just.
Wow.
And I thought that was
That's
just
amazing.
powerful.
Yeah. The beauty of holiness.
Yes.
That's just, man. So in this process, loving on people, like what would you say is the most important lesson that you personally have learned?
I find, I mean, obviously it's that love and learning what true love is and allowing God to take you through any process that he wants to take you to your own personal brokenness so that you can encounter the love personally and then be able to give
Give
it
it away.
out. It's, John Paul always taught us garbage in, garbage out, whatever you
Yeah.
have in. And so that allowing yourself to encounter God in such a way that you are so broken and whole that you're able to share that same type of love and experience with another.
Yeah.
And then I've learned also that it's okay to expect of God. I
Mm.
used to think, who am I to expect of God? I have to wait for God to give to me. I just have to sit back and whatever God wants to give me, he'll give me. But that we have permission to expect the best of
Yeah.
God and to ask God for more, that it's okay to do that. And I experienced that one year on another outreach when we were in Salt Lake City and we had gone to the Sundance Film Festival and we were doing outreach there. And I participated in that for about 6 years. Um, and there was one year it was always right around the time of my birthday. With this particular weekend, it did fall on my birthday. And I woke up that morning going, oh my gosh, this is going to be good because it's my birthday. It's my birthday.
Yeah.
And I know, that God, he gives big diamonds. And I'm kind of like the big stuff. And it's like, God, I was expecting a big diamond. And so it was throughout that day of outreach. Encounters were good.
Mm-hmm.
They were good, but they weren't great because I just knew that God could do more than what we were experiencing
Yeah.
throughout um, and so it comes towards the end of that evening and everybody says, okay, let's all get together. The team's going to get together for your birthday and let's find a place that you want to meet up. You pick. And so I had in my mind, or I could say, in my mind's eye, but in my spirit, I knew kind of what what it was being placed. I saw a tavern type setting, and that's where I wanted to have our gathering. And so when I went around to the different locations in Park City, well, they've been booked for years. This is a Sundance Film Festival. There was nowhere to get a team of about 18 people, to meet at the dinner hours. That place is booked. And so finally we went to one place and they said, okay, I think if you come right about 6 o'clock, I can get you into this place. Well, this place was like a mom and pop diner. And I'm kind of going, God, that's not what I pictured. I pictured this tavern type setting, but this is what we had. Okay, so encounter's good, great day, people blessed, we're blessed, we all meet. We walk into this diner and they said, okay, come with me. They took us down this hallway, they took us down these stairs, and we're in this underground tavern. I'm telling you, I'm telling
Okay.
you, I did not know that place existed. This is my birthday. I woke up expecting of God, and he was already imparting in my spirit what it was going to look like. And so I saw in the natural, but in the spiritual, God, opened
Right.
this up. And so we are here and we're having this great time together in fellowship. But there was something in my spirit that said, God's not finished. And I'm looking at my hand going, I haven't got my big diamond yet. I'm serious. I'm
Yeah.
asking of God. But then I start to feel a little guilty. And I'm going, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I was like, I wanted to repent because my head was telling me, Lisa, you shouldn't have asked like that from God. You didn't have the right to. But then the other part of me was going, yes, I did. I did.
Yeah.
And so while my car said, we're ready to go, we're leaving, I was like, I'm not done. There's something still here. And so another carpool said, oh, we'll take you down the road later. Well, you can ride with us and stay longer. And so I started asking God, what? I still think there's something more. I said, I don't think I've gotten my birthday present yet. And he said, Lisa, turn around. And at that time, I turned around and there was this group of kiddos from about probably 18 to 25 years of age, all dressed in goth, dark stuff. And they sat down at the table next to us. And he goes, Lisa, there's your birthday gift. Oh my. Even now, I can just I can feel the weight of the Spirit on this. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And so I took my team over, a couple of us walked over and introduced ourselves and said that we were working on a documentary during this time and we are interpreting dreams. And we were asking, do y'all have any dreams that y'all would be willing to share with us and see if we can interpret them? The head guy stood up, reached into his pocket, pulled out a piece of paper, and he says, I've been carrying this dream around, waiting to see if somebody could interpret it. Yeah.
Wow.
We had about 2 hours of ministry with this team. And this one little young gentleman sitting there, he said, I've got a dream. I am just killing people. I'm killing people left and right, and I'm loving it. And the team looked at me and they said, Lisa, you got that one. And I just spoke to him because, that was from the enemy, and it's a lie. And we look for the opposite. If the enemy is saying this, if the devil is saying this, what is God saying? And I spoke to him directly, and I said, you have a gift of healing. You were born to restore and bring healing and hope to individuals. And the enemy has tried to take that from you and steal that from you, and that is not who you are. And he just began to break and cry. And then he began to kind of dance around that place going, I love God, I love God, I love God. I'm telling you, I could not make this up.
That's what a birthday present.
That's what a birthday present looks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's so easy to start to have that kind of that religious, like, oh, I can't really ask of God. Like, am I expecting too much? Am I looking for too much? But he actually enjoys that. He wants us to have great expectation. He wants us to treat him like a king.
Right.
Not as a poor man that's going to run out. But I mean, he's got more than enough.
Right.
It's not like he's going to run out.
Yeah.
And we have these mindsets that have this very limited idea of who God is. We think, well, if I use up the good stuff now, then there's nothing left.
Exactly.
Or, it's like this idea, like God is limited. Like I can't ask him about these little things because he's got bigger things to deal with. Like he's got this, he's got countries to try to fix, and he's got these natural disasters where like the really big stuff, I can't ask him for this little thing.
Right.
But yet that mindset says that God is limited, and so he has to reserve for these really important things because he's going to run out if he does this and this and this. But he's more than enough.
Yes. Yeah. And so I've just kind of, I look at the way that in my relationship with God is I feel like he's constantly inviting us into this playground. And this playground that brings just eternity to people. So we enter in, and I find God to be just this God of joy, this God of healing, this God of I don't know, I just see this playground, and that God invites us to be a part of and to participate in and to find his joy, find his redemption, and just bring healing and wholeness to individuals.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
Have fun with it.
Yeah,
he allows us to have fun.
That's the thing.
I mean, even in the seriousness of the individuals' lives and what they're walking through, there's so much joy and freedom when we're participating in walking with God and allowing him to use us in the midst of it.
Yeah, we've got to get that. We've made God. Well, we've remade him into our own image, and we've allowed our shame, we've allowed our fear to give us this picture of who he is. This is not true.
Right.
And as we, I mean, you started with, kind of one of the important lessons you learn is as my heart gets healed, that I'm able to help others. Like it becomes more and more free. And that's really because when our heart gets healed and we stop seeing God in that way, we start seeing who he really is. We can start to see his generosity with fun, with joy, with spiritual giftings. Like he's not stingy and he's not demanding. He's a loving father.
Yes.
That loves. One of my favorite scriptures is Luke 12:32. It says, "For it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom."
Yes.
And I've read that in every translation I can find it. Some of them, it gives the Father great joy to give you the kingdom.
Yes.
The Father is happy as he gives you
Yes.
the kingdom. It's like all these pictures that just shifts our mindset. And if we can allow our hearts to get healed, we become ones that enter into this playground, and other people will get healed through what we experience, and we can give it away.
Yeah.
And go with expectation. And don't be afraid to ask for the big thing.
Yes.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah. And so in that part of that healing process for me, without going into much detail, but it was just, I thought I knew how to love. I really thought I did a pretty good job at it. And so through a very, very difficult season in my life, and this all was right before outreach really became a part of my journey and part of my life. He took this situation, and I had a vision, and he took this situation, this individual, and it was almost as if it just morphed in just the skin and the flesh, and everything just began to melt off of this. I mean, it was like something you'd see in just a really bizarre movie, or something. And it was kind of frightening to me because I just don't look at things like that. And the bare bones and the skin and everything melting off to where it got down to just the inner basic structure of the individual. And he said, "Lisa, you think you know how to love." He says, "Now you love here." The whole time I thought, no, the others are going to get changed. It's like, no, God was going to change me.
Yeah.
And I've never been the same since.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Would you pray for the people watching just to get a revelation of his love and just kind of release that impartation, if you would?
Yes. Oh, so Father God, I ask that for all those listening at this moment, Lord, that they could take just one moment, and look at themselves, not through their physical eyes, for what they see in the natural, but they see the spirit of your eyes looking upon them and telling them that they are worthy and that they are beautiful, and that they can encounter your love in such a way that will move them and transition their mindset of what they thought love was. That they will see the goodness, and they will see your kindness, and they will see your gentleness upon them. And that they will begin to see themselves rich and full, worthy, beautiful. That they are daughters and sons of the King. Lord, I ask that you touch them now, that they feel your presence, and that they are embraced and that they are held.
Thank you.
I ask, Lord, that they fall into you and they feel you right now, flowing through them, bringing healing.
Jesus.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you.
Yes, Lord.
So good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is so good.
Thank
Yay.
you.